Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for June 2023. We are just going to jump right in here, Capricorn. You start off with this November card here. Well, really the other one, but it doesn't matter. It says surrounded with positive people. Be grateful for what you have. I don't think this is talking about November. I think it's saying be grateful for what you have. In your own time, take control of time. You decide, you're in control. It's up to you to decide. So I kind of feel like some of you, gratitude is, I think, one of the best ways to attract the things that you want into your life. So, I would, take your time if you're not feeling grateful. But I also feel like being grateful could be the thing that, leads to more success in your life. I feel like you've been patiently waiting for improvements, especially in your finances. You have that strength card there. Strength is a card of patience, but, strength also represents a display of strength. Normally the lady that's on the strength card has her hands in a lion's mouth. And I always say, who in their right mind would stick their hands in a lion's mouth? And the answer is nobody. So, I feel for a lot of you, it's like you've been very strong. I feel like people see you as strong. Or see you as capable of, being able to be strong, right? Let's put it that way. And, that's just what I feel here. I would be careful of water in your house. It's popping into my head here, by the way. So, if you have a house and, I would be careful of any water issues or, anything involving plumbing, things like that. Definitely popped into my head. And you have the tower. So, I would definitely, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I would definitely be careful of that for sure. I would also be careful of the past. Returning here, which I feel like every single reading I do for you basically has been talking about some past bozo. So be careful of that. But the strength card, again, you've been waiting for something. I feel like you need to stop waiting. You have the Two of Swords right next to it. Look, you have the Two of Swords here, Eight of Cups, the Queen of Swords. It's regardless, this is one of those readings where I feel like regardless of what you do, it doesn't matter. If you just sit for the rest of the month and you do nothing, I feel like you're going to end up at the Queen of Swords. If you take action, I feel like you're going to end up at the Queen of Swords. Maybe a little bit faster though. And, I feel like you want to end up at that Queen of Swords because she sees things clearly for the first time, and I feel like there is a certain element of clarity that needs to happen here. Let's look into it. You have the Five of Swords. Could have been some sort of breakup. Could have been a toxic connection here. You have the Devil, which really could be you. But the Tower to the Temperance card could have been a fire sign or another earth sign. That where there was some sort of breakup situation. And, I don't really know that it's necessarily, I don't think it's dominating your thoughts or anything like that, but I feel like it exists. That's literally the word that is popping into my head, is that this situation kind of exists in your head. You have the Nine of Pentacles here, which says you're single, independent, kind of taking care of yourself. The only thing, again, I'm not worried about it, but again, I do not like this row. We're going to clarify it. We're going to see what comes up. So I don't want you to panic just yet, but Nine of Swords is a round-around situation. Wheel of Fortune is a round-around situation. So it's do you really want to repeat a cycle? If you have someone from the past coming back, I would be very careful of repeating, do you need to repeat that nightmare? And again, you're not going to get any criticism from me. I've done it. So for knowing full well that I'm an idiot for doing it in the first place, right? So it's I totally get it. And, but what I would say is just be, honest with yourself when, if this person cheats on you again or, the same thing happens, don't be too sad about it because it's you knew it was going to happen, right? You have the Nine of Pentacles. I feel this is almost like a path that you could choose, is to focus on yourself right now, to focus on your own improvements, to focus on your own wealth building, your own wealth creation. Nine of Pentacles is also the card of gratitude and luxuries, and you have that November card that says Thanksgiving, gratitude gathering. So again, I think that gratitude for what you do have will just attract more good stuff into your life. Let's see where this is going. With the Strength card, yeah, it's time for you to take action. Three of Wands. Three of Wands is what are you waiting for? Two of Swords is what are you waiting for? Two of Swords right next to it. I always say that lady, she has a new opportunity behind her, but she just needs to, take the opportunity. She needs to make it happen. And she needs to make a change as well. Two of Swords is one of those cards that really screams change to me because she's sitting where she's always been and there's a new opportunity behind her. Yes, it's an obstacle. That new island kind of represents something that she will have to overcome, but it's not a bad obstacle. It's a good obstacle. If she does it, then she's changing her life because she's doing something different. And, I would definitely do that. With the Five of Swords, you have the Eight of Wands here. Eight of Wands is quick success or a quick conclusion. Could be communication as well. So, again, I would be careful of communication from the past for sure. This has been coming up for you for a couple weeks. The other thing I would say is that, if you have moved away, and you do have the Eight of Cups here, so if you're saying I'm completely moved away, then I would say keep moving away with this Eight of Wands, and keep, Eight of Wands is part of our focus. Traditionally it was our arrows of love, meaning we like tell the universe what we want. The universe responds with, signs, symbols, synchronicities, whatever. And if we move in that direction, we attract, love, right? Esther Hicks calls it your rockets of desire. You're always telling the universe what you want in all areas of your life. And so I would keep following your inspirations with that card. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Swords. It's like I feel good, bad about this. I'm not going to like sugarcoat it, like I said. I mean, I feel like some of you want to improve your finances. It's like your finances are good, but something needs to improve here. And again, I'm not sure yet. So let's keep going. Next, you have this in the area of what you need to know right now. You have the Success and Triumph card. This is good. It says nothing will be able to get in the way. You will surely come out on top. Love it. You have this Virgo card. It says details, details. You need to look at something more closely. What you need to know lies in the details. And so I would clearly pay close attention to the close details in your life. Again, for some of you, with that Two of Swords, I think that sometimes when we are, too close to a problem, it's like we're not seeing opportunities that exist that could solve the problem in the first place. It reminds me, like years ago, I was stuck, as they say, for like 3.5, 4 years, I was stuck just doing nothing. And it's like during that time, I thought I was like this entrepreneur because I had a successful business when I was like 21, right? Which was way too young to be making money, right? And what I would say is that it's like I refused to get a job at that time because I don't know, I thought I was like an entrepreneur. So I was like, oh no, I'm going to, start another business and I'll be successful, which I eventually did. But that's neither here nor there. But what I would say is if I had just gotten a job, I would have probably, not been suffering for 4 years. I probably could have turned my situation around very, very quickly if I had just gotten a job, right? And, sometimes that's kind of like what I get here. I'm not saying it's a job, but it's like there's probably something that you could do to like turn your situation around. I'm not even saying it's as bad as my situation was, but it's probably that Two of Swords. So I kind of feel like maybe you need to zoom out and take in everything that's going on around you and kind of like look at the big picture. That's kind of like what I'm getting here, Capricorn. You have the Two of Swords, the Devil, and the Two of Pentacles. I kind of feel like this is you right here, the Devil. I mean, obviously it is you, but just because the Devil comes up in a reading doesn't mean that it's your energy. But I do feel it is in this reading. So, I feel like you're showing up in a strong position of power and strength. It's like you have two choices here. You can walk away from something that's making you sad, or you can continue and repeat a cycle, which obviously I would be very careful of with that the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. So I feel like your answer is to walk away from something and to do something different with this Two of Swords. Very interesting. It's kind of giving me the vibes. I think I said this to you recently, very recently. It's almost giving me the vibes. Like the best example I could give you is it's almost as if I were to like, if I were in your shoes, it's almost as if I were to, just up and quit this channel. And again, I feel like I say this to you all the time. I know I say this to you all the time. Like I wouldn't just quit something, but it's almost as if I were to do that and I were to start something completely different. It's like the fear would be quitting this and having to rebuild something. But again, I think what you don't realize here, Capricorn, is that you're actually going to rebuild something much, much faster than you think. It's like speaking of my businesses, it's like my first business took me years to build. Then I had other little random businesses in between, but then like my next real business, I built it in like 6 months, like no time at all. It's like I think that, and nowadays I build the other businesses very quickly. So, it's like one of those things. It's like once you learn it, then you can do things quickly. And so if you're thinking about, going and getting another job again, I wouldn't just quit. Then I think you're going to build something up much, much faster. Same thing in a relationship. Sometimes I think we stay in crappy relationships because we know the person or whatever, but what you don't realize is that it would be much better for you to meet a new person who kind of gives you what you want right now, and then it will happen faster because you learned lessons from the last one, right? And I kind of get that feeling here. You have the Two of Pentacles, work hard, play hard. I definitely feel Devil. Like I would be making sure that you're not like working yourself to death. Make sure that you're allowing time for fun. Make sure that you're doing things that you enjoy. That's when I get my best answers. I always say it's like when I'm doing things that I love, like my hobbies or whatever, that's when, if I have any problems or even not problems, even things that are going well, sometimes I kind of get the answers that lead to something better. So, I kind of feel like this reading is trying to push you to something better, but it's like something clearly has to be released or let go of, or again, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It's like maybe your job is fine and maybe you're okay there, but it could always be better. So, maybe there's something better that exists. With the Two of Swords, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, no running back to the past. Knight of Swords, he is always going in this direction. So this is not a traditional Knight of Swords, obviously, but he normally would be running back to the past. And I feel this is encouraging you to keep, moving towards new opportunity, the future. With the Devil, you have the Virgo card. Could be a Virgo coming in for you. You show up in Virgo's readings all the time. So definitely if you want love, could be a Virgo or a Leo coming in for you. Could be a Sagittarius, could be an Aquarius Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo with the Wheel of Fortune here. Take it how it resonates. But, again, I kind of feel that this is more talking about you needing to get to that new island on the Two of Swords. You needing to explore like new things in your life. It's like you've been through a dark night of the soul, but it's like, again, sometimes I think when we go through something difficult, we just stay there. We just stay in the dark night of the soul because it's almost like it becomes comfortable. And this is like saying, no, it's time to unfreeze yourself. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Six of Swords. Two cards of a rite of passage right here. The Hermit and the Six of Swords both represent a rite of passage. The Six of Swords is a rite of passage because the woman and the child in the boat, they're bringing nothing with them across the choppy waters. But it's like going through this tower. This kind of tells me that a rite of passage, which, rite of passage is not meant to be comfortable, is going to lead to a lot of clarity. I think you've already gone through this rite of passage, though. It's like the clarity is there because of the Hermit. The Hermit, his feet are frozen at the top of the mountain, and he just needs to set himself free, which is kind of what I feel for you. You have this message card and this house card. Some of you could be receiving news about a move or something like that, or approval. I'm wondering, again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Some of you maybe didn't get approved for a move or something along those lines, but I actually feel like there's something better coming in for you. So again, I think this would have been a mistake in the first place if you didn't get approved for something, and it's like there's something better coming in. For others, again, I would be careful of water. It popped into my head, like right away. So I'd be careful of your plumbing and things like that, especially if you've had an issue already is what's popping into my head as well. Like if, you had a pipe burst or something like that, you might want to get it checked again before it bursts again. There might be an issue. Or if you have like a leaky faucet or something, I don't know, it's popping into my head, so I have to say it. Obviously, it's not going to be true for all of you, but for some of you. Some of you could be moving as well. Again, the Tower really isn't necessarily that bad of a card. It can just sometimes represent a move. You have the Eight of Cups, the Tower, the Nine of Swords. Again, I feel like some of you, maybe you caused the Tower moment. As I always say, I don't think the Tower is a bad card. I don't look at tarot as good or bad. To me, it doesn't control our life. I always say that I love tarot, but to me, it is loose guidance at best, right? So, I always say like the Tower could just be, it really represents ignoring reality and needing to see reality for what it is. So again, some of you could have walked away from a situation that caused a Tower, but now you see the cycle, right? It's like Nine of Swords is a cycle, but it's not seeing the cycle. Wheel of Fortune could be you seeing the cycle for what it is. So again, maybe you broke up with a person or they broke up with you, and maybe over the past few months you've been feeling Tower about it, but now it's like you see it as just a repetitive cycle. It's like you see things clearly with that Queen of Wands, as I said. With the Tower, again, I am kind of getting moved here, so I'm wondering if some of you are moving or traveling, or if you're about to move with this card. I feel like it would be good. I would also, I would encourage you to break out of any repetitive cycles, because, again, the whole point of the Tower is that they've built those walls up too high around them, and it's like they're ignoring reality. They're not seeing something as repetitive. Repetitive things aren't always a bad thing, and unless you're stuck in a cycle. And so it could be a job, a business, anything that's been repeating, might need to change. You have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is like having a nightmare, waking up and being stuck in a nightmare. So we have to kind of break out of the nightmare with the Nine of Swords. The other problem with the Knight of Swords is it can represent being comfortable, believe it or not. Normally, the guy on the Nine of Swords, he has a blanket on his lap, and it represents a comfort blanket. And so, but, the problem with that is, again, sometimes I think we can be in a situation that's just not painful enough, And so it's we don't leave the situation. It's just kind of just painful, but not enough for us to get up and do something about it. So don't allow that to happen, is what I feel like this is saying. I feel like this is saying hey, if you're in a situation you're not getting what you want out of it, whether it's a job, a business, a relationship, whatever, maybe it's time to cause a Tower moment. Maybe it is time for you to walk away from something that isn't serving you. I would say for 90% of you, this has already happened. I feel like you already were in a situation that wasn't worth it, and you've already left. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Justice card, karma. You could be balancing things out. Again, sometimes when we're in those painful situations, I think the universe is just like, how long are you going to deal with this? Before, how long are you going to feel like we are not going to support you or provide for you, meaning the universe? When we stay in those situations, we are basically telling the universe, this is as good as you can make it for me, right? So we need to not stay in those situations, and we need to kind of like make it better, right? By leaving. With the Tower, you have the Six of Cups. Again, I would be careful of this person. It will be a shock if this person comes back. I'm telling you right now. It's like this person could be coming back with an apology or whatever. If this is a person, obviously, if it's a job, then, this is something else. We'll talk about that. But, if this is a person, they could be coming back to apologize. And, I would just say a big fat no, or I would just ignore them, plain and simple. Going this direction is amazing. I love 2 6s. You have 2 6s right here. To me, 2 6s is like confirmation for your path. So again, kind of like I said at the beginning of the reading, clearly you want to go that way towards the Queen of Swords. With the 9 of Swords, you have the Temperance card. Temperance twice. You can turn a negative into a positive. You can also turn a positive into a negative. You have the power to, turn something around here in your life. And it definitely looks like the universe wants you to create this turnaround, wants you to create these improvements. So that's what I would encourage you to do here, Capricorn. Next, you have in the area of the good stuff, this is going to be good no matter what. You have this being a copy card. It says, copying successful people can backfire and won't set you apart. It says, find what makes you unique and discover that genius that resides within. Because success comes from fierce originality, not imitation. You have this give up too easily. It says, if you quit before the miracle happens, you'll never get to see your victory. All the earth signs have been shockingly similar for the month of June. So it's like all the earth sign readings have been very similar. I feel they've all said basically don't quit, keep pushing. And they've also said be unique. A lot of the earth signs have had the Chariot. Or I should say the other two. You don't have the Chariot, but you do have this being unique card. Needing to be unique, this being a copy, but you need to be unique. So don't be afraid to set yourself apart. I do not totally agree with the fact that this says copying success won't make you successful. I think it's okay to model success, and I always preach the 80-20 rule. Like 80% of the time, do what works. If you see someone who's starting a business that you want to start and they're being successful, copy 80% of it. I'm not saying steal anything. There's a difference between stealing and, taking inspiration. But what I would say is 20% of the time, try to be unique and or different. And I think that's enough to set you apart. Next, you have the Queen of Swords, the Temperance card, and the Wheel of Fortune. This is showing up in the good stuff. So again, I feel like you could be getting some answers or seeing things clearly. Queen of Swords, she sees things clearly for the first time in her life. She only normally has clouds halfway up her body. So I feel like you kind of clearly can see the changes or the things that you need to do right now. And I feel doing them will make you more successful. And, that's what I do. She's also cautiously optimistic as well. She's she has her hand out. She's willing to receive, but she has her sword up. She's also, willing to defend herself. You have the Temperance card. If you are in a funky situation, I wouldn't even say this is good or bad. I would say funky, maybe uncomfortable. Maybe you are saying to yourself, I can make more money, but I'm not. Something is not painful enough. Maybe your financial situation is okay, but it could be better. I do feel this is saying hey, use your powers to turn this situation around. You could obviously greatly improve your finances. You have 2 cards of a turnaround, really. 6 of Cups can be a gift from the universe, and it can represent obstacles being removed from your life. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune, which would be a turnaround. So I kind of feel like this reading is saying that you need to create a turnaround in your situation this month. That should be your only focus. If I were you, I basically am, then I would be focusing on, creating some sort of turnaround or changing your fortunes. Because it looks to me like the universe is saying, okay, you went through this, whatever this crap is over here, but now it's time to, turn things around, create a turnaround, because you don't have to live in that 9 of Swords, comfort blanket, tower type energy, right? With the Queen of Swords, you have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of boundaries and putting up boundaries. It's saying, like I kind of said, it's sometimes I think we need to demand things from the universe, but we don't need to literally demand things from the universe. We do this with our actions. If you're settling for some bozo that cheats on you every Sunday night, then obviously you're telling the universe, this is what I deserve. If you are kind of dealing with a job that doesn't pay you enough money when there are other jobs that could pay you more than enough money, then again, you're settling. So I feel there's a difference between settling and settling. And I know that sounds like the same word, but again, it's like, needing to be honest with yourself and saying like, okay, I'm at this level, and it's like whatever I'm getting into is not at this level, so I need to go find something that is. And I feel like obviously we have to be honest with ourselves, but that's what I would do. With the Temperance card, you have the Five of Wands. Again, this is coming up in the good stuff, so I feel like you have learned. Five of Wands, these people are normally fighting with sticks. They're not fighting with swords. So it kind of says that they have learned from their challenges or difficulties, the things that they've been through. And, again, I feel like you have learned, but, I feel like you need to put that learning into action with the Temperance card. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Four Wands, freedom coming in for you. I would be focusing on things that make you free. Again, I think this is the biggest challenge for you, Capricorn, right here. Is like, I know, because, I have 5 planets and a bunch of asteroids in Capricorn myself. So what I would say is I totally get it. But I think the challenge for Capricorn is like old world, new world. Old world, I have a career, and I drive 4 hours to work to get every single day. New world is I start like breeding cats, fancy cats in my backyard, and I become a famous cat person or whatever. I don't care, right? Whatever you want to do. So it's like, but that's like what your heart is telling you to do, whatever it is. So maybe you want to become a professional ping pong player. It's like, whatever it is, I would just do it because it's going to be the thing that sets you free. And people always say, you can't make money doing that. I'm like, listen, there are people on YouTube who like talk about ants, worms, stuff like that, and they make plenty of money. So like you literally, there's tons of proof that you can make anything interesting. And yes, you have to be able to tell a story. So start learning about it, right? And then you'll be successful. There you go. A rant over. I feel like that whole entire reading was just like one giant rant. So there you go. Sorry. But let's we're going to use the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. We're going to pull 5 main themes for you now. You have the Eccentricity card. Yes, I feel like you need to let this part of you out, like the weirdness, the kind of being excited, doing things differently than anyone else. Again, all 3 Earth signs now have had very similar readings. I literally said to Taurus, I think it was Taurus, or maybe it was Virgo, I can't remember. But, I was talking about Liquid Death, which is a new water company. Well, they've been out for a couple years. But it's like, I was watching an interview with the owner of that company, and he was talking about how, good companies stick out like a sore thumb in a stale category. So water, it's like every bottle of water is the same, but they created, water in, aluminum that has like crazy art on it. So it's like they're sticking out like a sore thumb. They're being eccentric, right? And so it's like, what can you do in your life to do that? You have this versatility card. I feel like you need to be versatile as well and like kind of look for other ways of doing things. Nine of Swords with the Wheel of Fortune with that Tower, even though the Wheel of Fortune is coming up in the good stuff, yes, I feel like you're changing your fortunes. Things seem to be getting better after a very stale period of time. That's where this reading is going, but at the same time, I feel like you need to be not doing things the same. Next, you have this Romance card. Could be love coming in for you. I feel that I would focus on new love if I were you, for sure. Not telling you what to do here, Capricorn, but I don't know. This past person just seems like not good. So, let's put it that way. And I feel like this has been coming up for weeks, for you. So I would be careful. Definitely could be an Earth sign. Could be any sign, general reading, but Earth stands out, fire. Could be anything, but what I would say here is that this card reminds me of the Two of Cups, so it could be someone who's like very different than your usual type, but, I kind of feel like it'll work, so go for it. You have this Intuition card. Where did I see this? Maybe not. I could be making this up. Never mind. But what I would say is, trust your intuition, of course, at this time. I also feel like you need to trust your, feelings, like what your feelings are telling you to do. They could be, your feelings could be guiding you in new directions, and, that's what I would do here. Next you have, and finally you have this Appreciation card. How crazy is this? You have that November card and you have this Appreciation card, which has a cornucopia on it. We associate the cornucopia with, Thanksgiving sometimes as well, right? So I feel like being grateful, appreciating what you do have is just going to lead to a lot more abundance. This is a card of abundance as well. So, I do feel like you're stepping into this time where you are going to be more abundant, be more, and, I think there are going to be a lot more things for you to be grateful for. Kind of an interesting reading. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.